Welcome back to the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Today is June 27th, 2018. Happy Wednesday to everyone. Today we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to go over some space weather news and then take a look at some charts. And then Mario and I are going to kind of have a talk here. We have a little bit of concern, and we just wanted to bring some attention to some folks out there about the validity of a person's account as far as the name of the accounts and social media and such. But we'll get into that here in a minute. Well, let's go ahead and look at our space weather for right now, and I'll go ahead and refresh this just in case. Okay, so our solar wind speeds are sitting at a 526.1 kilometer per second with a 5.2 density. Still looking at AR 2715, sunspot number 12. I have a lot of folks telling me that this sunspot really isn't even existent right now, so we'll take a look and see what our next day will be as far as a spotless day, which right now it's been quite a bit since we haven't seen spots on the sun, but it is definitely getting a lot quieter than what it has been over the past several weeks. Still looking at 87 days on the year without sunspots. That's 49% of the year so far. Take a look at our KP indices, and it's at a 1 right now with a 24-hour max of a 2. And we are going through some high solar wind speeds right now, as expected. We talked about the... I just wanted to make sure. Okay, so we talked about the coronal hole that was just south of the equatorial region not too long ago, and it closed up kind of quick. I also made an announcement that I thought we should be on the lookout for quake activity within the next 7 to 10 days, and I'm not so sure if that's going to hold up now either. So right now we're sitting with an increased solar wind speeds, talking to some friends in the chat earlier, and it did crack the 600 kilometers per second range for the first time in a while. Let's take a look at our SDO in motion. Doing a different angstrom tonight on the 211, and what we have here is a yep, there you go. There's that roll technique. I'm sure the fear porn YouTube channel is going to go crazy with the rollover maneuver here on the SDO, as they always do every so often when SDO decides to do a recalibration of its satellite and focus. But we are looking at a quiet sun. You see those active regions still kind of lit up, but 2715 is hanging on by a thread, and from what I can see through the roll maneuver here even, is that we don't appear to have any kind of active regions coming around the eastern limb. So it does appear that we are going to start July off spotless right now, and let's see how long we continue that streak. Taking a look at our TSI, I should say, we're sitting at 1360.74, and that was for June 19th, 2018. So again, still monitoring the values, going back and forth between 0.6 and 0.7. And quickly, and I guess what I really wanted to do here, let's see what Mari's got. Okay, we got this stuff here. Before I continue though, I would like to show the graphs right now, and I've been following this for a while, thanks to the Starman. He's brought my attention to this, and the more I watch it, the more I'm waiting for that big increase. This is the East Tropical Atlantic continuing to drop, slightly recovering, but it plummeted out since our last report on Monday. Also, our Caribbean anomaly, which I thought was finally going to go back to normal because it was soaring towards the baseline. And as you see, once again, it's plummeted. So we almost reached the baseline. Pardon me. And once again, we're back below the negative 0.4 value. Here is the Atlantic MDR. Again, this is declining down to 0.964, so almost a degree Celsius under the baseline. And last but not least, the North Atlantic, which continues to fall. And they've actually now changed this graph. Maybe they haven't, but I haven't seen it hit this low before. So they are showing a value of a negative 0.8 now on the graph. And I thought that this stopped at 0.6. So they added a new value because I reloaded it. Okay. So Mari is confirming that in the background. They have added a new value to this graph because, and honestly, folks, this is the one that concerns me a lot. I don't think anybody expected the waters to continue to be this cold. We're almost at July 1st. Now, June, July is usually the boring part of hurricane season. But we've literally had no action whatsoever this year when it comes to storms. We had Alberto and we had Bud, which that's East Pacific storm. And right now, as I show you the Atlantic, and you know, we can see right in here, this is the warmest region where I have my cursor. The waters where the circle is, these are where we are experiencing the warmer waters. That might be a little bit wide, but right there off the Atlantic, the Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, right where that stream of moisture is actually, in that last frame, that's where the warmest waters are in the Atlantic. But when you come back here and all the way through here, I mean, folks, there's nothing, I'll move it up so you can see it. There's nothing popping up. I've lost that. It doesn't matter. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that the waters off of Africa are still cold. This high pressure is dominating and daisy chaining this moisture. And the warmer part of the Atlantic is trying to pull it. And that's where we are seeing the moisture coming in on the Atlantic side of Florida into the Gulf. As this high pressure is churning it around and pushing it back towards the East Coast. But we'll just have to continue to watch this. With the temperatures being the way they are, the Eastern Pacific has no issues right now with storms. In fact, we are looking at a fourth named storm right here, and this one really ramps up. And here's a second one, a second low pressure storm. That's the one that they're going to watch. And then bam, you got a third one. So, but they're crossing into warmer waters in that region. So therefore, we're going to see more favorable conditions for, and here is a general idea of surface temps. See if I can blow that up a little bit for you guys. As you see, where the area right off of Mexico, southern Mexico, we have some very warm waters. The Gulf is heating up as well. But we have some warmer water here in the Eastern Pacific and into the Western. So these storms have the ingredients to form. But if you look, and I forgive me on this, but if you look back here at the Atlantic, and we're starting to notice a little bit of warm up here off of the coast of Africa, but the mid-Atlantic actually has now changed a little bit, as that water is even cooler than once was in the central part of Atlantic Ocean. So just interesting to watch. I know I'm battling right now because some of this data is new to me right now, and you know, Mari confirming that they did change this chart on the North Atlantic. They added a new bottom out number here for this. And I think normally we would see another value when you're already at the lowest. You would think they would add another lower value just in case for reference, but They haven't done that yet, and the reason for that is because no one expected the temperature to drop the way it's dropped. I mean, folks, we're talking about 1.3 degrees Celsius that our North Atlantic temperature anomaly has dropped since May 2nd. So that's almost 2 months when we've seen a 1.3 Celsius drop in temperature. So just some really interesting stuff that we're following right now. I'm sure there are other GSM topics tonight. Oh, I will mention this before I get into the meat of the product tonight. This paper has gone around a lot today. Evidence of an active volcanic heat source beneath the Pine Island Glacier. And I read this, and I'm still going through it. Right now, the paper is open for at least 30 days. So everyone, I definitely advise you. I did not put the link in the description. I will after the show. But a lot of this is talking about how researchers have found over 90 underground volcanoes underneath the Antarctica region, and especially here on the western side where the Pine Island Glacier is. I read a little bit about this. The best part about this article, or the study, I should say, is that man has nothing to do with this. That everyone is pretty surprised at the number of volcanoes that they have located beneath the glacier. And from what I understand, it's many, 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 many kilometers below the glaciers, these volcanoes. So I advise everyone to read this on your own first. Chew on it for a while. I'm not ready to make a definite commitment to anything in this study. I'm still looking over it. A couple friends I know kind of briefly went over it as well, and the conclusion that I came up with is that something like this, to melt the glaciers, it's a small area. It's not going to impact the climate, so to speak, and there is many, many, many factors involved with its possibility of melting, affecting the climate or the globe itself. So I will put this link in the description. Let everybody take a look at this while you can, and maybe get together in a chat and we could all talk about it and try to make some sense of it. But the important part about this study is that all this claim about how much ice is being melted in Antarctica is, man's fault. Now we see that that it's not, unless man went underneath kilometers of ice and built volcanoes. Then yeah, that's their fault. But I'm pretty sure that those volcanoes have been here well before man was even thought of. So we'll put the link in the description. I really invite everyone to take a look at this and try to absorb as much of this as you can. So, a couple things. Mari and I, for those of you who are new, and we do have a lot of new subs this year. Last year this time, we were probably somewhere around the tune of 13,000, 14,000 less than what we have now at this point, as far as subs. So we've had a lot of new subs, especially since the beginning of the year. Mari and I have studied this topic going on 2 years now. If anything, we'd like to say that we report on it. Mari does a great job of editing videos and putting things together. She's the one that kind of gave me the formula. So when I put out a video myself about a topic, the formula is generated from what I've seen Mari do, and we follow that formula to help present facts to people. And the job here at this channel is to communicate to our subs and the public about this topic, the grand solar minimum, and what's happening, and what man is doing, what man is not doing. And I think Mari, first of all, wonderful job. This is the website, thegrandsolarminimum.com. Mari has done so much to this. She's made it easy enough for me to contribute to the website. It's not all, it doesn't have to be her, but this website took her a lot of time. And I remember in the very beginning, we only had a few sections like, oh, this is so great, you don't have to add any more. And since then, she's added like 8 new sections, and the website still continues, in my mind, to be great. And then you have our Twitter account, which Mari is 100% responsible for. She promotes this like it's her child that's competing in a spelling bee. She's worked really hard, put a lot of followers up for us. We're up to almost 2,000 followers now on Twitter. And I think Mari's had a presence on Twitter, how long? Like 6 months?
I have no idea, Jake. I don't know if I would relate to my Twitter account as a child or anything like that, but I do enjoy Twitter. I feel awful guilty with all your gloating about me on here because I've been quite inactive the past few months. So, you know, I am so much looking forward to getting past this move so we can go back to our other format of doing live shows and actually doing the edited news content, like the quick news content. I love that format. Can't wait to get back to it.
Well, it's not gloating. It's facts. You know, whether or not you've been able to do what you want to do on social media, you've got something started here. We have a foundation at this channel, and it continues to grow. Our Facebook page is close to 1,000 likes. We started it out, I think, almost 2 years ago when we first started doing this, and we had like 30, 40 people that liked it. And, you know, once we got serious about this in January, things have turned up. More subscribers, more content, more knowledge. And I can't forget that we've surrounded ourselves with some of the best community subscribers. Starman, Henrik, those guys do a lot of Radical Gardener. Well, Henrik and Starman are the two that do the most collaborating with us. And I can't appreciate, I can't stop thinking those two. Henrik is a special person. He brings so much to the table, he doesn't even realize it. Starman is a genius. I have another friend of mine named Rob, and he doesn't like to be mentioned, but I don't care because he helps a lot as well. I can go to Rob at 3 o'clock in the morning with a question about something. He's there. Same with Starman. I could message him on Twitter or in the chat at 3 in the morning, and he'll answer me. So when I have the help that I have and the influences I have, the people that follow along with that, you know, Radical Gardener, Carlos Ramirez, sorry, bud, on Twitter, very knowledgeable. Judah Cohn, I like following him. Forgive me if I pronounce your name wrong. Starman's been following him lately. Dr. Warheed, I think is what it is. Wahid. But there's so much networking going on that are presenting the facts, common, cool, and collective. And the reason why that we're bringing all this up is that we're not here to brag about how great we are here or anything like that. We want to communicate to our subs and let you guys know how much the Grand Solar Minimum means to us, not just our channel, but what's going to happen. And this isn't just some kind of popularity or notoriety contest here. This topic was presented to me by a gentleman who no longer is affiliated with the channel. In the beginning, he gave me all the basic facts on the topic, and it really concerned me. Now, some of his views were a little bit more extreme than mine, and that's kind of how the ethics of things kind of got messed up between the two of us. But the basic knowledge was enough to get me started. And then I was smarter about who I put myself and Mari around when it comes to resources, people to trust on information, to be factual and not sensationalized for fear porn or to try to sell a product when there's no rush, there's no hurry. We are in this for the long haul. There's no reason to sell urgency. There's no reason to sell panic. There's no reason to sell fear. The only thing that we need to sell is that this is real. And I think Mari and I have struck a nerve in parts of this community because we notice there's duplicates of our accounts out there at times and certain venues. I'm not going to announce who or what, but we feel like that the reason why this is being done is because our channel doesn't serve up enough fear porn for the other channel's likings. So we're kind of like, we've got the name Grand Solar Minimum. So bam, we're right there in your face when you do a Google search. But when you go to our channel, you find a more reasonable layman's term version of what's happening. And then we bring on the experts, John Casey, Valentina Zarkova, David Dilley, Ralph Witche, great conversation with him, Per Strandberg, awesome guy. But you ball all those people up, Matthew Stein, Sasha Dobler, everybody that we bring to this channel for interviews brings something to the community. Matthew Stein, when technology fails, I don't believe that he is on board with what we are preaching about when it comes to the climate science, but that man's book is a beautiful representation of how to prep, no matter what you're prepping for. And that's what we want to do here at our channel, Grand Solar Minimum. We want to prep you guys. We want to inform you guys. We also want to give you the news nice and steady, instead of trying to dig on the internet to find a story about snow 2 inches in the mountains somewhere in some strange country, where we can stick to the facts and stay with the headlines. And then on slow news days, we've never done this before, but I think it's important that people know the passion that we have for this, and that we're in this for the long haul and not for the short term. And I guess, I wanted to kind of get Mari's take on this as well, but I've talked about how long we've been doing this, Mari. I've talked about what it means to me. Maybe you could shed a little light to the audience tonight about, what the Grand Solar Minimum, this topic, is for you, and how maybe you perceive things now than you used to in the past.
Well, it's been quite a journey, I started off just knowing that, becoming aware that things are changing. And through navigating that, I started my YouTube channel, which evolved into me debunking, theories about certain topics. And I think with GSM, it was an eye-opener because I couldn't debunk it. And I stand firm that the sun and with the climate is all the reasons for the changes. Everyone needs to stand up and just prepare and learn to adapt. When you zoom out and look at society, it's frightening to see how unprepared most people are. And the one thing I like about our channel is we have integrity. We don't do the fear porn. We vet the information. I know you and myself work very hard to make sure the information we put out there is accurate. And, this community means a lot to us. We learn from you, you learn from us, we share ideas, and we build from each other. This channel, it's sad that we have a lot of opposition just from both sides, within the GSM community and without the GSM community. We've had some real nasty stuff done to us. And I'm not going to get into it because I think we're better than that. And people can see through that. I think people are very smart and they can see through the games and all that. We are genuinely here to grow together, to learn together, and to share ideas. And that is like our passion, our heart and soul. So, that's all I got to say right now. I need a drink, Jake.
No problem.
I'm sorry. I'm not used to talking so much.
That's all right. I just, I feel like it's important to hear you talk about this as well, because I always speak for both of us most of the time. But, when you said opposition, yeah, there is an opposition out there. Because Mari and I refuse to fall in line with some of these other channels and beat that fear porn drum. And to me, I feel like this channel offers real solutions, because we're filling you with knowledge, information, and with these live broadcasts, this gives people a chance. Even if you're shy, you don't even have to jump into the times a day. Constantly beating in deaths and crop loss and suicides from farmers and devastation to regions, and death, and just constant over and over and over and over. I mean, what's that doing for your psyche? What's that doing for your mentality? I want to be able to present the information in a serious tone without panic. And I feel like that everybody here is lighthearted enough as well to the way we present things, we're able to still be humans about this, still be normal Jake and Mari and Davids and Robs and all of you out there. You know, we don't have to change ourselves to thrive in this. We have to change our ways. We have to adapt, like Mari said. So, you know, to those of you who wonder why we don't mention other channels out there, some of these other channels are, like Mari had said, have disrespected us several times on social media. Certain individuals who continue to use our name to gain notoriety and popularity with the old crowd that we were involved with and the current crowd. And I find it funny that this continues to happen, and then we find fake accounts with our names on them that don't represent. It's weird because it's not even like slander about the channel. It's just things that we would never report on. Really extreme, far out there reports and articles that we would not touch. And a lot of them come from web pages that are known for fear and gloom and doom. So just, you know, if you ever have a question about, is this the real grand solar minimum? That little red GSM logo right there, guys, on the left of your screen, that's one way to find out. And then the other logo that we have here is this right here. That's us. And plus, you'll be able to go to our profile and see how many followers we have and reference that. I mean, you know, if there's another channel that clones us and it has the exact, actually, we've gained 2 followers since we started the broadcast. So this thing's set on cruise control, Mar. You may think that you're not.
People are in the chat saying they added us.
Awesome. That's great to hear. That's the point, Mari. I mean, you may have it on cruise control right now, but you've set up a foundation. And like you say, once we get done with the move, our personal part of our lives, we can expand once again more than just these live shows and news updates, where Mari will start covering topics and videos again. I'll even start making some as well. But I still think that these live broadcasts are important because, like I said, what other channel can you go to in this community right now and go and speak to some amazing minds, very knowledgeable people, and talk about gardening, talk about climate, talk about food, talk about heat sources? I've heard it all. Mari has told me that there'll be nights where I'm reading articles and I'm just background noise for your guys' prepping experiences or fishing experience or whatever you're talking about that's involved with off the grid living. And then there's nights where we like to cut it up a little bit too. We bring Henrik on, we talk about some serious stuff, but we also find a way to bring the humor in without offending others. And I mean that by not talking about 160 people dying in a storm and then making a joke about B&B Day in Denmark. You know, that's classless. And I've seen that from other channels. I've seen some classlessness. I've seen some comments that were negative towards people in the videos that they were reporting on. It's nonsense. I've seen rudeness from channels where actual subscribers ask questions to these channel operators and they fire back really snooty messages, and they look like pompous assholes. And there's quite a few of them out there. I don't have to name them. I don't have to name them out there. They know who they are, and they know I'm talking about them right now, and that's fine with me, because I don't feel like we're being blacklisted because we're not included with these other people. I feel like we're on top of what we're doing. We're the only ones doing it. And as long as Mari and I continue to stay humble and report the truth and the facts and the real information, and try to provide also solutions as well at the same time, I don't see how you could go wrong with subscribing to this channel on YouTube and making it your main source for information. I bet your stress levels go down a little bit. I've heard a lot of sensational claims out there, guys. I don't know how you do it. I know some of you are subscribers to multiple channels, and God bless you. I know, and here's the thing. I was the same way when I was with Mari and debunking topics. We were followers of many, many channels that talked about the same thing. So you want to get, perspective from each channel that's out there. And I get that. And there's nothing wrong with that. You'll never see me shame any of you on our comment section about being affiliated with any other channel. That'll never happen. And I have seen it happen to us a couple of times from individuals who, if they are who they say they are, they wouldn't be speaking the way they speak about Mari and I, that's for sure. So, all right, I'm done with my rant for the night. I just wanted to kind of give a quick little update. I didn't have a lot of articles to share tonight, but I still wanted to speak about this because our close friends have shared some information about a possibility of someone going around and cloning accounts and claiming to be that account when it's not them. A quick example, there is a fake Adapt 2030 email going around right now. So it's not just us, it's everybody. You have to watch out. You have to vet your information. You have to be careful on what you see on social media because it may look bad at first. And without vetting the information first, you may make a rational decision based on a mistake or someone who is just being fake news. We work too hard, and we will protect this channel's integrity. And I know there's other people that are subs that will stand up proudly for this channel because Mari and I, we try to deliver the news without drama, without fear, without sensationalism, without motivation for profit. In fact, when's the last time that you hear us ask you guys? We don't talk about PayPal. We don't talk about, the t-shirts, but that's going for a great cause. And that money is appropriated properly. But I look at it like a tip jar. If you look at do we promote that link in our description for the t-shirts?
I recently have.
Recently we have, okay. But before that, we weren't that type of channel. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with promoting your product. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Just make sure that when you're promoting your product, you don't have to beef up the truth to promote your product, because that's one thing you're not going to catch this channel doing. And that's what kind of, I guess, frustrates Mari and I, is that we work so hard, yet so many people out there try to discredit what we're doing. I heard one gentleman actually refer to watching our channel as, you definitely don't know what you're talking about if you're watching this channel. And I thought to myself, that's great. Because we've had John Casey on this channel. We've had Valentina Zarco. We've had David Dilley, Per Strandberg. We didn't need anybody's help for those interviews. Those people agreed to talk to us because of the way we presented the information. It was factful. It was truth. They knew we weren't, your fly-by-night company that profits and moves out of the state, starts another business somewhere else selling whatever. Anyway, so with that being said, guys, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate your continued support for this channel here at the Grand Solar Minimum. Tomorrow we'll try to come back with a more normal report for you, but I figured tonight I just wanted to jump on and give a quick little shout to our subs and try to let you guys know what this means to us, and not just hearsay, but we do take this serious. And the reason why you won't see us sensationalizing things is because we are the only channel that and look, if we come on the air and we sound panicked, then there's a reason for it. And that's the point, is that we don't want to be that boy who cried wolf. When we go on live for an update or something that's urgent to talk about, we want to make sure that we're going to be taken seriously, because we don't do that on every single event that happens in the world that might be related to grand solar minimum. Marty, do you have anything you want to say before we close out?
Well, I mean, all these interviews that we've done, and the PERS interview, I got to apologize to PERS because I have that interview. You know, myself and Jake are in the middle of a real huge life-changing event. And the fact that we still come on as much as we do on this YouTube channel is a miracle, because there are days that we just look at each other. We're so tired. It's hard. So I just want to thank all the subscribers for understanding that we are humans and we do this channel out of passion and love. And there's so much more on the way. Just bear with us, because it's going to be a beautiful journey as we get settled back in and are able to devote more time to the channel. You subscribers watching, you viewers, mean so much to us. I am truly humbled by the love and support from all of you. And I hope you guys have a great night. I don't have a whole lot to say. You know, I try to bite my tongue because I could get in trouble, Jake, if I say what I want to say sometimes. You know me, Jake.
One more to note, if anyone knows how to build an ark in the Midwest, I'd start. I've noticed this pattern here in the Midwest, the Northern Plains, and the Northeast and South. It looks like it's going to be a very soggy start to July, end of June. So I did want to note that the chances for precipitation over the same areas over and over and over again, and we're only halfway through the summer. So interesting to see. And I think that's the reason why, too, that after we see a heat wave up here in the Northeast, that it's going to cool back down back into the mid-70s again in middle of July. So we'll see. The rain makes it cooler, so we will see how much cooler it gets, and we'll keep watching these graphs on how low these temperatures actually get. All right, that's going to do it for us today, guys. Thank you again for tuning in. Please like and share and subscribe, and we will talk soon. Take care, guys.